Moon Gang. We are back at it again, folks. We are back at it again. Attention. Astronauts in the cafeteria, please pay attention. We are here for Power Hour, and things are interesting. But Matt, why are they interesting? Well, I'm seeing that the SPY, the Qs, and the Russell are all in the red, but you know what's not in the red? AMC and GME. GME is up 6%. AMC is up 4.5%. I don't know what I'm doing with my Tesla trade. I never cut it. If I'm being honest, I had a crazy busy day. Between the morning stream, I had to talk to some data providers. I had to talk to myself when I did the crypto stream. I just did an interview with Charles Payne. I'm sure there'll be a clip of that somewhere live. I'll have to talk to my editor, but I'm sure that's going to end up on Kohrs Lite. Like, it might be up there now, actually, if I check. But yeah, if you want to see the interview with Payne, that just came out. Lots of stuff going on. And then we also have one more interview for you this evening. One more. It's a busy day. 3 shows, 2 interviews, and I don't know. What did I have for lunch? A plate of pasta. That's my day. That's been my Tuesday. That's how everyone gets ready for these Fed days, these Fed announcements is 3 shows, 2 interviews, a plate of pasta, and a whole heaping, an entire heaping of anxiety. That's how I like to do it. That is exactly how I like to do it. Charles gas bag rainout was spreading FUD again on Fox. Well, that's what he does. I mean, that's whatever. Like, he's my form of comedy. He's not my form of like intellectual based market insight. If I want to laugh, I watch things from Gasparino. Sometimes you need to consider the core, like the source. Consider the source and see what's going on. But man, super bummed out that Charles Payne is still like kind of being locked out of his Twitter account. He hasn't done anything from early December, almost 10 days ago, a week and a half ago. That's rough, man. That's rough. I don't quite understand like what's going on there, but hey. All right, before we get into all of this, all the good, the bad, the in-between, the technicals, all of that, I would very much appreciate it, no matter where you're watching. If you're on Rumble, if you could hit that plus button, that Royal Rumble button. If you're on YouTube, if you could destroy that like. There's 2,000 people in here. There's no reason we can't have 5,000 likes. Just make an account, dark pool your like, option your like, synthetically drop all the likes that you have in front of you. Very much appreciate it. I don't think you can like on Twitter. So while everyone else is liking on Rumble and on YouTube, if you happen to be watching on, not Twitter, on Twitch, if you're watching on Twitch, just asking for some good vibes. Just kick back, relax, enjoy the show. And Twitch is in charge of the good vibes today. Let's put it that way. Twitch is in charge of the good vibes. What else do we have? Okay. AMC looking good. It's pushing that 25. 25 was yesterday support. It is now resistance. Let's pay attention to it. Hopefully we can get that break. GME once again tapping 148. Earlier today we got very close to 150. I am watching 150. Tesla is ripping for me. Am I back in the positive? Remember when I had that entire, I don't know, when I like showed you how my therapy session's going? That 10% of luck that I thought I didn't have, maybe I'll get lucky and it'll come back. Nope, I'm still down on the play. I'm currently down 7% on that Tesla play. Still have it. Still have it. Cool. Make sure you hydrate. Shout out Jay Brown. Jay Brown, I just want to let you know, I got your message and I'm moving my schedule around, so hopefully I could participate tomorrow with you. I just want to let you know that lots of things going on. I just need to do a little bit of schedule rebalancing. So let's get into some specifics. So as of now, AMC is estimated to have a short interest just below 20%, 19.4%. GameStop is estimated to have a short interest just below 15%, 14.8%, just so you know. In terms of the overall market, very, very weird day. Sometimes when you see action like this, with basically the opening and the close being very, very close, but yet there's still a range in the bar. Sometimes this is indicative of a change of trend. And now the question is like, well, what trend is it changing? Is it changing the overall up? Is it changing the recent up? Is it changing the recent down? Yes, these types of bars can be trend reversals, but then my question is just like, well, what trend are you reversing? Now, I want to point out that there was some bullish divergence in the 15-minute, the 10-minute, the 5-minute on the SPY. This was a nice buy. The 461.50 breakout, that was signaling to kind of go long on various technical parameters. That happened around 2 p.m., but it came down. You see bullish divergence. You get the pop over technical resistance at 461.5. And since then, you're already up, $1.50. Not a bad deal whatsoever. In terms of the Qs, very similar scenario. In terms of IWM, similar scenario. It had a stronger morning and the reaction right now is a little bit muted, but overall it is down the least in on a relative basis to these three major indices that we pay attention to. In terms of AMC, we're looking for the break above 25. It's been rough. So on the year, AMC is still up 1,000%. But ever since this thing really started selling off November 16th until this moment, we're down 42%. That's rough. I'm not here to sugarcoat it for you because it's the truth. I'm not here to somehow beat around the bush when it comes to straight up fact. What I am here to point out is additional divergence. So if you look at the action on December 1st to the 14th, obviously the stock has gone lower, but the momentum hasn't. We haven't seen as much bearish divergence, as in there is less bearish momentum now, aka more bullish momentum, aka more apish momentum here than there was relative to the start of the month. So from a technical perspective, if I didn't know shit about AMC at all, if someone just brought up this random ticker to me and said, what do you think's going on? I would say it looks like buyers might finally be stepping up, and I would like to see the confirmation of it getting back above 27-ish. Big capital-ish right there. In terms of GameStop, not the exact same scenario. We're not seeing bullish divergence. The RSI just didn't play out that way. But this one has a bit of a perfect downward channel, also referred to as a bull flag. So we're going to see if it can get out of the top side of this channel. You could draw that however you want, whatever way makes you feel like particularly better about yourself. I would roughly draw it there. Let me get rid of some of these previous ones just so it's a little bit more visible. But this top trend line, today, if it were to happen, 155, tomorrow, 152, 153. Those are the levels I'm watching on GME. In terms of Prague, not much has been going on ever since it tried to break out of its bull flag. We had this downward channel. We had some excitement on December 6th, and since then, it's been kind of flat. So not really going up, not really going down, not much of a trend. I'm still in Prague, and obviously AMC and GME. This one, I'm waiting. I just think it's fundamentally undervalued. Lucid finally catching a bid. If you have been waiting for the Lucid train, now might be your opportunity to buy yourself a ticket because your risk is very well defined. You can risk somewhere between 34, 36, that $2 range. You're getting in at 41, so you're risking about $5, $6, and maybe you want to ride it back up to 56, which would be a $15 gain. Maybe you're going to ride it up and look for that breakout. But overall, you're always measuring out your risk reward. I would personally risk somewhere between 34, 36, and look for that follow through and the push back higher. In terms of Tesla, wait, what the fuck's going on with Tesla? Holy shit. Hang on. Hold the phone. Folks, I think I'm making money. No way. I sold. I locked in those profits. That the order, the 20% gain I set early this morning, it just got executed. Orders. Yeah, I got in at 1550 and I just got a fill at 1810. I got a nice 20% gain in, out. I told you. best Tesla trader on this side of the Mississippi. A lot of you all day were probably sitting there saying, but Matt, you didn't follow your trading plan. But Matt, you basically had a mental breakdown and explained to your fictitious therapist your very legitimate problems. And then after that, you're now bragging the fact that you only got out by a pure stroke of luck at the end of the day. You're darn tootin', team. Of course I'm going to do that. Hey, would I rather be skillful or lucky? Of course I would rather be lucky, and you just saw it. It's not my fault. You can't sue me because I'm one of the luckiest traders on the planet. That in itself could be a skill set of just my pure luck. I just crushed it. 20% best Tesla trader on this side of the Mississippi, that side of the Mississippi, crushing it, crushing it, crushing it, crushing it. I never doubted it for a second. You're going to be rewatching some of that morning stream and you're going to say, I don't know, Matt. It seems like you were very much doubting it, and it seems like you made a bad trade and you're getting lucky now, and you might be instilling bad trading habits to think that you could just let something go against you and then just pray and throw a Hail Mary that it comes back. To that, I would retort, dude, you're harshing my vibe, man. You're really harshing my vibe on that one. Damn, like that's just some like hardcore truth. I don't know if I really want to talk about that right now. Let's move on a little bit. Rivian flat, kind of boring. Apple almost yesterday became a $3 trillion company. It was off. It was off by a little bit, and then it ended up selling off with the overall market. But today, sold off, went up. Now, similar to the SPY, look at these charts. Look at the daily charts. Very, very similar. So I wonder if this is just a little bit of a breather before it finally hits that 3 trillion market cap. NVIDIA finally, hopefully bouncing. Didn't really gap fill yet. I was curious about the gap fill at 267, 268. My best assumption is maybe Pelosi was tied up with the debt ceiling discussion, and now she finally realized that NVIDIA is going down, so she's going back to work to pump this thing to kingdom come. I hope so. If I start to see this pump, I'm going to be 100% in it. Today, Robinhood hit a new all-time low of 1842. For those of you keeping track, from its debut on the market until this very moment, it is down 50%. From its all-time high, it is down 77%, 76%. I do find this interesting in terms of media, in terms of all of this stuff going on. No one has issues of pointing out how much AMC and GME are down from their all-time high. In fact, they love to hark on it. But the same people who this entire time pumped Robinhood, what? They're going to sweep that under the rug? They think that me, a person who potentially's mental health is questionable, is going to let them forget that they all pumped this and said, bye, 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 it's the best thing ever? They think that I'm going to let them forget that? They think that I'm mature enough to get over my generic level of pettiness to let them forget that they all told us this is one of the best buys and you better get in? A company whose entire business model is currently on the ropes from a government standpoint. The exact same company who burned $1.3 billion last quarter and really seemingly has no way to dig itself out of that hole. That company that was pumped to us, that is literally the dumpster fire of a company, they think I'm going to forget that? They think you're going to forget that? They want to sweep it under the rug. They would love to sweep that under the rug. Thankfully for them, I have nothing else better to do with my time. They might have lives, they might have engagement, but no, I can sit here day over day. Time is on my side, and what's better than that? The truth is also on all of our side. Mateo, this is for shots and giggles. Shout out. Matt, I owned 1,500 shares of AERC and went down at about 15 average. Please go into detail. How much longer can it go? What's support? Please look into it. AERC. Well, I mean, not to be facetious here. How much farther could it go? It could go to zero. And in terms of support from a technical perspective, I don't know, because it's at a new all-time low. So you're letting price discovery play itself out. If you're looking for maybe a different base, look at how much money they have like on their balance sheet, because typically you're not going to go below, obviously, the cash you have relative to how many shares there are. You'd have to do that quick computation. But I don't know much about it. I just know it hit a new all-time low. You got in at 15. So what happened with this? It went from 38 to 117 down to 10. Arrow clean. You got in at 15. So you were buying in on the dip. So you got in, I don't know, somewhere back here. It seems like a really tough play. This would not be my type of play at all. And in terms of level of support, I don't know. I don't think anyone would know. Talk about Tesla, Bryant. So you're basically saying talk about myself? Brendan reminds me of Gene from True Story Netflix. Festive seasonal, Matt. Young Listen, shout out. What's going on, man? Hope you're having a good one. What up, Matt? Hope life is treating you well outside of stonks. Hope this buys you a glass of sangria and a box of Cheez-Its. It's the little things. Yeah. It is the little things. It is. And I think that's some of the things that our community in general needs to remind ourselves of. Think about a year ago. We weren't anything a year ago. This community did not exist a year ago. So sometimes you have to take a step back, take stock, and are we at the absurd levels that we all desire to be at? No, of course not, but every journey starts with a step, and we just got to keep our heads down and keep trucking forward. 6-month chart, what do you think about SBEA, the SPAC that takes Black Rifle Coffee, SBEA? So some of the charting when it comes to SPACs don't really matter whatsoever, just because SPACs, it's a blank check company that's going to sit at $10. It looks like upon the announcement, there was a lot of excitement. It shot up to 14. Since then, it sold off. So the chart is boring. The chart is sideways. So really what I would do if I had interest in that play, I would try to do a fundamental dive into Black Rifle Coffee, see their growth, see how many people are consuming it, order some of the product yourself. Do you like it better than other coffee companies? That one, the Black Rifle Coffee Company play is much, I would say at this point, it's not a technical play. You would, if you're interested in it, it would be more of a fundamental play. All right, where else are we at? Where else are we? Shout out. How much of this volume / run up is shorts taking profits? We will not know. The earliest you would definitively know that information is in 2 days, because whenever you cover a short, it takes 2 days to return those shares. That would be, once again, the earliest. We will know that on December 16th. We can use Ortex as our tool set. Right now, there's literally no way to know. People will try to cite short volume. That's a pet peeve of mine, because short volume is not useful. The only manner short volume is useful, like if you're on something like iBorrowDesk or, I don't know, Fintel, these data sources that give you short volume, the only utility I find of it is the trend of the numbers. I don't care about the magnitude of the numbers, but day over day, is it staying consistent? Is it getting bigger? Is it getting smaller? I care about the trend over multiple days. I in no way care about singular data points, and I in no way care about magnitude. But Matt, Santa Hat guy, why don't you care about short volume? I thought we care about shorts. That's a great point. The issue with short volume is it's referred to as dirty data. It includes short volume, like legitimate shorts that you're thinking about, but it also includes market makers and other high frequency traders and people that are in and out before you can physically blink your eye, as in not a legitimate short to the, I guess, definition that we think of it. Short volume is dirty data because it includes legitimate shorts and then also market makers, high frequency traders that are in and out in fractions of a second. And they are not, it's not truly a bearish bet. Sometimes they're just attempting to provide liquidity. So because of that, sometimes you could assume that the proportionate breakdown of that is roughly the same, hence why I find a little bit of utility in using those data points over various days and looking for the trend, but do not use short volume ever in terms of the magnitude. It doesn't make sense. You're not going to get anything from it. Maybe a little bit of a misnomer. I understand how people would easily make that mistake because you're like, hey, wait, this is short volume, but it's one of those things that you have to dive into it and kind of like know what the data is truly representing. This super is for the jealous shills. Sorry. Shout out Productions. I appreciate that. You know, it's always funny to get shill-based super chats. What happened to the new name pop-up feature? Is that only on your other show? Yeah, so that's right now on the crypto show. We can get that going on this show. I kind of want it to be a little bit differentiated. The crypto show is like naturally a little bit of a shorter show. It's more of like what's going on in the world of crypto, where's opportunities. It's going to include some interviews. We just did episode 2 today. I would love to ask you, for any of you in here right now that paid attention to the crypto show, did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you have any suggestions? Let me know your thoughts on the crypto show. I think crypto overall represents quite a bit of opportunity, and things have been, I guess, situated where I felt like I had the time to start adding on an entire additional show. Did he say a shorter show? Yeah. Shorter show in length, I suppose. All right, where else do we have? Do I have any questions? What's going on over here? I like pugs and SHIB. Shout out Dilly. Those are the two things that she's bullish on. Pugs and SHIB. If it ain't pugs and if it ain't SHIB, Dilly doesn't want to know about it. All right, AMC tapping 25. And then you have GME tapping 148. Why is this not auto sizing? All right. So we have the SPY bouncing back. And then Tesla's also looking pretty solid right there. Oh, quick reminder, pinned to the top of chat, sign up for public. If you want to help battle the extreme amount of off-exchange trading, if you want to stick it to the market makers, if you want a reliable brokerage for stocks, it's not for options. I personally don't use it for crypto. Sign up for public. It's completely free to sign up. It's free to use, up to $70 of free stock when you sign up. No market makers, no payment for order flow. 75% of the trades hit lit exchanges. The only time it doesn't hit a lit exchange is when they have like a legal responsibility. If they notice that there's a better price somewhere else, they have to give it to you, which in itself is astounding because that means 75% of the time the best prices you can get in terms of execution quality is on a lit exchange. That factoid itself always blows my mind. But as a little bit of a bonus, when you sign up and make your account and get going there, you can actually see what I'm in. You can see my public portfolio on public. You can see the stocks that I'm in, the stocks that I'm not in. Like I said, if you're an options trader, it's not going to be for you. If you're outside of the U.S., unfortunately, as of now, public is only for U.S. People, just so you know, but sign up for that. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Matt, can you take a look at D's? Thanks and love you. Shout out, Jackie. I hope everything's going well for you, man. Did he talk with Charles yet? Yeah, so that the interview already happened. It was on Charles's show, just so everyone knows if there's like any confusion relating to that. It was on Charles's show today, and I believe it's already posted. Let me check it out. Videos. Okay, here it is. Here, I'll post the link in chat. There it is. There it is. If you guys want to watch it now, if you want to watch it, I guess, like, whatever. I just posted the link on Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. That's, yeah. There you go. There you go. D's is going nuts. Watched since early February when you originally met Trey. Thanks for everything you do. P.S. My mom likes you now too. Says you're smart. You sound smart. But then she saw your Tesla trades. So, Senor, she'll learn quick. Match, how do you feel about the theory of BlackRock holding $8 billion in Evergrande bonds and having to sell U.S. stock to negate the loss of the EG default? So if they do own that much, they definitely are going to have to balance out their book. BlackRock is big enough that it's not going to become like insolvent from an $8 billion hit. Like in the worst case scenario, you have to understand the size of BlackRock. They're not going to be happy about it at all. And I'm sure they're going to be able to recover a certain portion of it. And they're going to sue this guy and that guy. And things are going to happen in the back end. But will that cause like an insane reaction in the overall market, or specifically AMC or GME? I don't think so. I'm not really buying that. If anything, honestly, what I think is more impactful for the overall market and individual equities is the Fed results coming out tomorrow. Right now, people are being extremely cautious. And as you can see from AMC and GME, they are pivoting out of high risk equities. AMC and GME, you might not believe it, but they are considered to be high risk equities, especially in the classic fundamental world of Wall Street. So I think we're running into some prevailing headwinds right now of like a risk off sentiment as it relates to inflation, as it relates to the increased velocity of tapering, as it relates to potentially 2 interest rate hikes coming up next calendar year. There's various things that I think the big money people, the whales, the institutions, the hedge funds, and anything else, aka whales, I think they're all starting to pivot out of high risk bets, high risk investments. And also it's that time of the year that maybe they're doing some like tax harvesting. So question is, short interest charge change on Ortex? If so, went down from approximately 8% on top, 8% on day to up so much. Your thoughts? So question is the short interest charge on Ortex current. And if so, we went from down approximately 8% on day to up so much. Rogue, I'm sorry, I'm not quite following. So an increase or a decrease, if you see the short interest going up, that doesn't mean stocks have to fall. Sometimes there's a correlation there, but I would not be looking for a correlation there because short volume typically represents a very, like I'm saying legitimate short, not before when I was bashing on that metric, but I'm saying like legitimate shorts typically represent a very small portion of overall volume traded throughout a day. To think that stocks go down because of shorts and to think that they go up because of shorts covering, that is not accurate. That is in no way accurate. Prices go up and down based on the bigger players, and a lot of the times it's longs getting in aggressively or longs getting out, as in selling aggressively. Shorts do have an impact, but today the numbers are just not representative of that. The short interest is up. And the fact that the short interest is up, and I think some of the new shorts are in the game, and the fact that AMC and GME are both up, it actually shows you that some of the newest shorts are almost being instantaneously burned, which is nuts, which is very, very good for us. So, for example, you see this borrow change of 6 million, but today you see a trading volume of 100 million. That's 6%. Sometimes you have to like look at the magnitude of the numbers relative to everything else that is occurring. And when I see something that's 6%, that 6% is not going to be what's driving the overall movement. The overall movement at max, that's 6 mil, which means you have 94 mil of trading that doesn't involve shorts. That's the clear large majority. So to me, this is people more so buying rather than shorts covering. Do I think some shorts covered? Yes. And we will know the nature of the size of those shorts in 2 days because we have to wait for the 2-day settlement. Could Elon's tweet be the reason why Tesla woke up? I saw his recent tweet about Doge. What did he just tweet out? Oh, this one? No, I think the market had already consumed it. It was 9 hours ago, unless he's saying other stuff. 19 minutes ago. Stop projecting. Elizabeth Warren is a fraud. Her lies about being Native American. Jeez, I shouldn't have read that. This is the revolution of medicine. I'm trying to see what else. I don't see any particular tweets recently that would have like a noteworthy impact on Tesla. I think just the market gods decided to help me out today. This super paid in Doge via Coinbase. Oh, brother, shout out Adam. Pugs in German is the same. Shout out. What's going on, Bo? Matt, with the current situation and Fed tapering possibilities, are there any factors that may trigger margin calls? And where GME and AMC stand during the storm if that happened? Margin calls, I think people are exclusively thinking of margin calls through the lens of shorts like getting burned. Margin calls can happen to anyone. Margin call basically just means your broker says, hey, whatever your position is, it's going south. You owe us money. Historically, I've seen more margin calls, and I'm sure the data would kind of suggest this. There are more margin calls in high volatility environments, whether up or down. Now, for us, AMC and GME, I think there could be margin calls related to AMC and GME when AMC and GME themselves are insanely volatile. I don't think we're going to see like Fed-based volatility that then somehow has a grand impact on AMC and GME. Remember, hedge funds, the name hedge, they are experts. They are maestros. They are very, very good at hedging. They're not going to let an individual position be like a massive input, like a massive impact on the rest of their book, which is exactly why things like Melvin Capital was such the story that it was, because usually you don't see hedge funds messing up that poorly. Obviously, me using that example, it shows that it can happen, but also it happens in an event where GameStop goes from 20 to 500. So we need similar insane moves to kind of get like those types of, I guess, reports and news. I don't think the Fed development will really react in a way somehow of prompting or not, or like stymieing a MOAS. I don't really quite see that connection there. Why didn't they cover when it hit 20? Some of them, probably some of the smart ones did. Remember, don't think of them as a monolith. To think of as like all hedge funds getting in and getting out simultaneously is very, very poor. They all got in at different points for different reasons with different risk tolerance and different hedging mechanisms. To think of them as a monolith of like the shorts of they're getting in here, they're getting out there, I don't think that is accurate. I think some of the smart shorts probably got out at 20. I think some of the other ones were just greedy and they think it's going to go lower. It's the same reason why, not the same, in fact, it's probably more the opposite reason. Why did you not get out at 72? Well, probably because you thought it would go higher. The reason they didn't get out at 20 is because they thought it would go lower. Time will tell who made the right call. Spider-Man getting 100% on RT. Will AMC benefit? AMC would be a clear benefit in terms of their bottom line, the more people that go to AMC to watch it. But I mean, that's a pretty obvious business model. Of course, AMC will do better the more people going to AMC to watch theaters. So getting a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, maybe that will drive some people to go see the movie. But if it's 90, 100, 80, 70, 60, I think the people who are going to go see Spider-Man are going to go see Spider-Man. I don't think they're making necessarily their decisions off Rotten Tomatoes. All right, where else are we at? All right, I think I'm up to date there. Cool. Hang on, quick break. Hydration, not a joke. Matt, have you heard of Dr. Marco Metzler, an analyst who says AMC and GME will soar as it relates to Evergrande? I've heard of him, but I don't know if it's like legitimate. Matt, posture check and vibe check. Vibes high as always, but the Dr. Marco Metzler, this is a great question. I don't know anything about his credentials. His credibility might be a positive player, might be a negative player. Previously, we've seen people who are very quickly welcomed into this community because they say some positive things, and people are human and unfortunately quickly fall for confirmation bias. And then given sometimes a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, we realize that maybe they don't have the best intentions. I don't know the story about Dr. Metzler. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think people are maybe a little bit too willing to accept someone who like is just saying something that they like believe is like gonna be like, it's just confirmation bias, and confirmation bias is a horrific thing. A lot of people don't like that I say this, but with AMC and GME, it is so caustically bad. It is toxic to only listen to the things that you like want to be true. There's a difference between what you want to be true and the reality. Those are two sometimes utterly different things. This community has no issue attacking and disproving people who say things against the stocks that maybe they are personally trading or invested in. But even if something is horrifically wrong and it sounds somewhat beneficial, everyone gives that a free pass. That's not good. We've seen this historically with dark pools. We've seen this historically with convertible bonds. We've seen this historically with like Brazilian depository receipts, BDRs. We saw this a lot where people came up with a theory, it was disproven, and then yet today, December 14th, you still have people beating the drum of that particular thing, even though it's disproven. And whatever, if you want to live life in your confirmation bias echo chamber, if that's just like what, hey, like, I'm not saying I know how to live life, right? Not at all. But I would vehemently argue that it's a poor way to interact with the stock market. Sometimes a healthy dose of reality in the short term could be painful, but it could lead to a more positive long-term result. And obviously, I'm not really talking about Metzler anymore. I'm just saying in general, hey, maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. I don't know, and I have no issue admitting that I don't know. It's just one of those things I need to look into. I need to dive into it and do my own research and cross it with other resources and references that I truly respect and think are more accurate than not accurate. But just willy-nilly believing something because it makes me feel good, that's not good. Shout out Tom. What's going on, Tom Nash? Smooth Brain here. Is there a Cineplex AMC owned in Canada? I don't know. Does anyone know that from Canada? Is there any Cineplexes AMC owned in Canada? Here to support Matt in his journey to become the daily news show. Tom, you know me. I'm here just to spread some of the hottest new fashion advice. And what's in right now is Santa hats and cardigans. A lot of people from Canada are saying no. I know why ADGI is down, unicorn related, but is it a good buy at this price? Do you see it recovering? ADGI. This is down because of unicorns? I think it has to be down because of something else. This is a therapeutics play. I would assume maybe they lost drug approval. Maybe they had a bad test. But when it gaps down 79%, sometimes not everything is a dip buy. Sometimes it's down for a very legitimate reason. Step one would not be to look at the technicals and talk yourself into buying something on discount that just gapped down to a new all-time low. You would want to dive into the news and be like, what happened here? Is it a market overreaction? Or maybe they just lost something that represents, I don't know, 70% of their revenue, and this is now legitimately priced. Dive into the why it had such a horrific gap down. Tesla woke up. All right, we did that. Shout out. Crapface Ninja. This is a Crapface Ninja alert. He said, I just thought of something. If you knew CFN, this would be noteworthy to you. So let's wait and sit around and see if there is an update on that, of the fact that he just thought of something. Please keep us posted. Now I'm intrigued. What if the metaverse will have movies you can be in? Whoa. He did think of something. I like that. Metaverse will have movies that you can be in. I want to be in the metaverse. I like it. I think AMC should step up and say, we will own the first movie theater in the metaverse. What does that mean? No one knows, but it's provocative. It gets the people going. That's what I would do. Someone write that up and send that to Adam Aaron. Adam Aaron needs to contact like the Decentraland or whatever, a giant metaverse provider, and say, yo, we want a movie theater. I don't know if it'll work or not, but it sounds cool. It's a good headline. The headlines would write themselves. What else do we have? Imagine how far they could get away with certain stuff. Like before, when we had those like 3D goggles and they would like kind of jump out. Like remember back in the day when we all had like serious migraines because we were looking through red and green goggles for hours watching Spy Kids 2, and we thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then people started to realize that it like hurt our entire heads, and they kind of stopped with those movies. Well, fast forward to now. What if we have movies where they like, I feel like they can really get out of hand with the stuff that they could do? A truly immersive experience. What if I'm there, right by my boy Nicolas Cage in National Treasure 3? What if I'm the person actually helping him steal the White House? Like, what if I can smell the musk of Nicolas Cage, and he looks me dead in the eyes and he says, we need to steal the White House? And I'm like, Nick, you've said crazy things in the past, but I think this next 120 minutes will be an exciting flick. Count me in. That's just an idea. If anyone wants to execute upon that idea, I don't know, give me some royalties or something. I want to watch a movie starring Matt Thickness Kohrs. You said PTPI was heavily shorted. I tried to buy puts but couldn't, so who shorted it? Institutions, pirates. Puts don't count to short interest. Shorting is borrowing stock basically at a brokerage from someone who initially owns it. If you buy puts, that doesn't add to the short interest. That's a derivatives market. Sent you a tweet /DM for AMC idea. Theater one open food for general public, seating, auditorium, early hours for cafe, free alt content, TED, YouTube streams, appreciate review /street ape 3180. Yeah, I'll check that out. Katie, I kind of like that. So you're saying kind of using the venue just in more of a generic sense, like a bar and food, and then you have other types of content there. Interesting. I like where your head's at. Matt, interview head of DOJ, Lisa, help her with her case. I'm not sure that department heads at the DOJ look at me and say, that's someone we should align ourselves with. Imagine that. Imagine the DOJ or the SEC doing an interview with me, and they're like, we just like the cut of this kid's jib. Matt and Riley open Texas Roadhouse in the metaverse. Why isn't your nickname Macau? M-A-C-O? Macau? Macau? Why isn't my nickname that? Typically, your nicknames are given by friends. So a prerequisite to having a nickname is essentially having friends. So I would assume that that's probably the crux of the issue. If I had to guess, if I was throwing out a little guess there. Audius is building a radio station in DeFi land. Thoughts on PTPI? I'm risking zero, but has fundamentals and high short interest. PTPI? I don't know if I agree that it has fundamentals. I haven't looked into it. It might, but I would feel way more comfortable if it was hanging out above 3. I just see like this shelf of support from basically its public debut all the way up till August, and I'd prefer it highly that it stays above 3. But in terms of its fundamentals, I find it kind of difficult to be predictive of fundamentals for therapeutics plays. That's why I kind of stay away from like that biotech, therapeutics world, pharmaceuticals, just because it's not where my expertise lies. The one play I'm in is Prague. That's the one play I do understand. That's the one play I've done DD on. But in general, I'm much more comfortable and much more familiar with what various tech companies are doing and what it does or doesn't mean for society and culture. But pharmaceuticals, that's just not my forte. I'm probably dumb, but should I get my shares away from Robinhood? My shares are away from Robinhood. Right now, the one that I feel very confident supporting is Public, so you could check that out. You could switch your shares over to it. People are recently having some issues with Fidelity related to the amount of shares that I guess could be shorted related to GME. It was like a $2 billion mistake, and of course they blamed it on other people. There are certain brokerages that I guess, like, as long as you have your direct routing, like TD or Interactive Brokers, I could get behind those. But with Public, it's just easier because you don't have to worry about it. You already know that they're not dealing with market makers. So I think by far that's easiest. If you're on these other brokerages that have direct routing, make sure you're using direct routing. That's definitely important. If you're just arbitrarily using Fidelity, or if you're just arbitrarily using TDA or E-Trade without directly routing, there's a very, very good chance it gets sent to Citadel. There's a very high statistical chance it's being sent straight to Citadel. All right, what else do we have? 11 minutes to go, AMC. I mean, AMC's having a great day. It's up almost 6%, trading just below 25. It tapped 25 a couple times a little bit ago. 20 minutes ago, it was above 25. Couldn't hold. I mean, 25 is a pretty important level. I would love for that breakout, but I'm not insanely surprised that it didn't get it either, if that makes sense. In terms of GameStop, it tapped 150, similar to AMC. Just couldn't hold. I mean, it's an 8% day and a 6% day. Those are very, very good days. Like, let's not, I guess, be greedy. Let's take it a day at a time, a percent at a time, $1 at a time. Someone said Charlie's on Fox. Oh, am I already missing it? Hang on. Let me see if I can. Am I missing anything good? I always like laughing. Oh, shoot. What is my login? Nope, that's not it. Is this my right login? No. That is very much not the right login. Is this the right login? Let's try this one. I feel like we're already missing the Gasparino part.
I'm old enough to remember 1994 when Alan Greenspan saw a massive bubble in derivatives and risk-taking in bonds, and he raised rates. It caused some pain. You had the Orange County bankruptcy back then because the what was his name? Robert Citron. Remember that name? He was the county treasurer, and bet against rising rates in the derivatives. This, you can see some of that if rates rise, you could see them popping this bubble. And the problem is they let this thing go on a lot longer than Citron did. So if the Fed aggressively raises rates, the stocks that get crushed in this, it's just common sense. Anything to do with heavy duty trading. It'll be Hood, it'll be AMC, it'll be GME. And probably be Bitcoin too. I mean, I think that those are the sort of things that get hurt when you have rising interest rates and you have, bringing some sort of sanity back to valuations, right? Because if you have rising interest rates, people generally buy bonds, right? More safer investments.
Or financials.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Watch the Fed. I think this is all contingent on the Fed. But again, AMC is pretty amazing. It doesn't have the upside potential it used to, and it has wickedly more aggressive downsides when you watch this thing. Today's a perfect example. Yesterday was down 15%. Today it's up, 6%.
We blow the cyber whistle on you now. You see my Elon Musk cyber whistle?
She only wants to talk about my lasagna recipe.
By the way,
you got to get the CEO on, who I think is doing a good job. Aaron again, get him on.
He's on all the time.
But ask
just
him,
not when you are.
Could you just ask him once? Does he really believe this BS from the apes that Kenny G and all these guys are manipulating the stock? It's such nonsense. Ask him if he believes in that, because he talks to his investors all the time.
Yeah, he sure does. He listens to them, and
so,
he takes some of their advice.
They're pretty crazy.
Charlie. Thank you very much, Charlie Gasparino. By the way, he mentioned his lasagna. Charlie is my guest this week on the Everyone Talks to Liz podcast. Even if you just hate him, you got to hear it.
I love to be hated.
He outlines his Christmas
Well, we don't need to promote that. I guess we only listened to it for about 45 seconds. And two things, I guess, to say. I think it's particularly humorous in like a ha-ha way for him to talk about common sense. It's just common sense. That is common sense from a guy who is supportive of payment for order flow because it's also not used in North Korea. North Korea doesn't use payment for order flow. You want to be like them? Like, it's just like actually stupid. So the fact that he said common sense, I find that particularly humorous. But also, I see a lot of people who are chanting for Iran. This is like honestly just like factual. He said that there's wickedly more downside than there is upside. No. Everyone who is starting to learn about the market learns that when you go long on a stock, your risk is capped, as in it falls to zero. When you go short on a stock, your risk is infinite because the stock can go higher and higher and higher. So to say that there's wickedly more downside, those were his words. That's just wrong. That's a poor understanding of like fucking numbers, man. Like that doesn't make sense. How could you possibly say there's wickedly more downside? You know what the downside is? The downside is 24.51 right now. The downside of GameStop is 147.08. I just told you the downside. The reason I can't tell you the upside is because theoretically the upside is infinite. So to possibly say that there's more downside than there's upside, there's never more downside than there is upside. That's not how numbers work. The bottom is always capped. If you are going long, your risk is inherently always capped. If you're going short, it is inherently uncapped. And in fact, your max profit potential is capped. It is the complete inverse. So that's just, it's just every time he opens his mouth, it feels like he just is expressing that he doesn't know about the markets. Like, and that's, I don't know, that's just crazy. He's a national pundit / contributor. That's not, you need to know more. Like, I get it. If he doesn't like it, like, whatever. I don't really like him. I doubt he likes me. Obviously, the community doesn't like him. He doesn't like the community. And we could always debunk how we got to this point in life. But that's fine. People can dislike people. People can dislike ideas. People can dislike organizations. But to just like say stupid, asinine, incorrect things, that's embarrassing. Like, he's, I'm assuming, a paid person to talk about finance. Like, it's not a good world when a ding-dong 27-year-old perceivably knows more about the market sitting in his basement in a Santa hat than someone on national TV. What does that tell you about media? Like, that's just not good. What's Charlie going to say next? Santa isn't real? What do you think about Constitution DAO? I was very much covering that story when they were attempting to buy the Constitution. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's actually, I don't know. I just like it. I like how quickly it mobilized. I don't know if you're looking for like the specifics of the numbers and how the DAO is particularly set up relative to other DAOs. I don't know that much about it. I was more of like supportive of the narrative that Constitution DAO was going with. Where do you see Tesla tomorrow? Tomorrow, I was actually about to make a joke of like, I see Tesla wherever I want Tesla to go, but my joke aside, tomorrow is going to be a crazy volatile day. In cryptos, in stocks, people are going to be jockeying for position all day, and then everyone's going to be reacting to the news at 2, and then they're going to be reacting to the conference at 2:30. Tomorrow, no one can predict what's going on. This isn't like a technical continuation. This is a fundamental update for the entire market, for all of our lives. This is going to be nuts tomorrow. It's not. It has nothing to do with a technical continuation. Similar, the days that we're going into an earnings announcement, I'm like, yeah, the technicals just don't really matter because we have a giant fundamental update. You can think about that tomorrow, but for the overall market this time. Liz, Philip, what's going on? Those effing numbers, I tell you. Shout out J-Kiss. Matt Thickness. What's happening? What's happening where? What's happening with who? With whom? We should be grammatically correct. What happens at 2 tomorrow? We get the results of the Fed meeting, which started today and concludes tomorrow. The Fed meeting, the Federal Reserve, the people who can make money out of thin air. Hey, you get $1 trillion, you get $1 trillion, you get $1 trillion, we all get $1 trillion. Who's man on a mission? Someone say, go away, shill. Well, that's interesting. Let's find this accused shill. Everybody check the news on AMC shorts just covered. We're spamming that. Everybody check the news on AMC shorts covered. You guys know me. I am a benevolent leader. Thumbs up for a permanent ban. Thumbs down for letting the accused shill survive to another day. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm just going to go with like the first bunch I see. All right, I'm not seeing anything yet. Nothing yet. Oh, crushed out of the gate. All right. Where is he? I'm coming for you. Man on a mission is now man without head. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Ooh, that was brutal. That was a bad one. That one's gone. Gone, gone, gone. We'll never have to worry about that false information again. The shorts cover. Like, how? That's just unban if true. We know it's not true because there's no way they covered 100 million shares. We traded 106 million, as in you think almost every single share traded today was a short covering. It's not possible. The stock would have gone so insanely haywire. Well, he's gone. I like all these votes. He's out. He's out. Folks, that's it for the show. We had the morning show. We had the crypto show. We had the power hour show. We did it. We did it all. Feel free to check out the interview with Charles Payne. It's right here. Right here. Just go to Kohrs Light while you're there. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. The Retail Investor Revolution. Check that out. Quick 4-minute clip and a nice little Santa hat. So feel free to check that out if you want to see. I was on with the man, the myth, the legend, the Charles Payne today. He's having apparently a lot of issues on Twitter. He's kicked out of his Twitter account. We talked about that, but we talked about some other important things. So feel free to check it out. There is one more interview I have. We'll be doing it live today, just so everyone knows. And then past that, we will be back in action 9 a.m. bright and early tomorrow for the, once again, returning to the morning show. As always, I appreciate your support. I truly could not do this without all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will catch you 9 a.m. bright and early. I hope you have an amazing evening, afternoon, night, whatever time it is for you. I hope you have a very, very good one. I'll catch you in the AM. And as always, from me and Cher, best of luck in the market.